before the break, a caller was talking about some of the shortcomings of the starting five, and it's pretty apparent. I mean, they haven't been bad, but they haven't been the best starting five in the NBA via plus minus, which is what they were last year, and a big reason why anytime people brought up benching this guy or bringing this person into the starting lineup, it was always immediately shut down because why the hell would you do that? Why would you mess with the best starting five in the NBA? Well, something that you would always reference is, well, if they're the best starting five in the NBA, how come they don't close? Like, how come Looney or Draymond are not on the floor together? Because usually it's one of those two guys, that mainly Looney, that comes off in the final 5 minutes of a game. And even this year, we're seeing Chris Paul in with either Draymond or Saric or Looney, like whichever one big they have out on the floor, along with typically Thompson, Curry, and then Wiggins, or maybe not Wiggins. But, so if you're looking at the Warriors starting lineup, how do you think that they can correct that? Or do you think that things will just correct themselves because Klay is inevitably going to shoot better, Wiggins is not going to continue to shoot 25% from three? Or like, do you think those things are just going to happen by themselves? Do you think the starting lineup needs some juice?
Well, I don't think you can do anything till Draymond comes back and you get another look at it. But I do wonder about have we reached a point in the NBA where you can't play, or at least the Warriors can't play, two non-scorers at the same time? And right now, and I know Draymond made some threes, but he's treated as a non-scorer. And Looney is a non-scorer. Okay, so now you're going to start a game with two guys who don't score a lot. Okay, they've done it in the past. They're still good defensively. But you got to look at the next two players, Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins. If they continue to play like they're playing, this team's going nowhere. And then the starting lineup is going to be terrible. Because it's one thing to play two non-scorers, but the reality of the situation is then you've had two scorers who haven't really scored in that starting five in terms of Wiggins and Klay. So I think you have to live with waiting for Wiggins and Klay to at least start to get better. And again, so you can assess. I think the question, are we asking the question of whether to put Chris Paul into the starting lineup or not? Is that what we're...
Well, that's what I'd suggest, because there's only one player that has positively impacted everyone. And honestly, all that matters is how Curry plays with particular individuals, and no one's been a better fit alongside Curry this year than Paul when they're on the floor. Now, we haven't had a ton of minutes because Draymond's either been suspended or he's been hurt to look at, is it just a blip on the radar? Is the starting lineup actually losing a step? But if you have a slower starting five, whether it's because of age or lack of production than ever before, and the Warriors are playing at a 19th in the league pace, then why not just lean all the way in? Why not bring Chris Paul into the starting lineup? Because last night he was setting up shots for Klay Thompson, even though Stephen Curry's not, his assist numbers are not there. He's shooting through the roof. Like, Chris Paul does make guys' jobs easier in the half court, and if they're not as fast and quick and athletic as they used to be in the starting five, then Chris Paul could be an answer to unlock that group.
Who comes out?
Looney.
Boy. There's something I don't like, even though for the last 2 or 3 years I've said, well, if that lineup's so great, how come they can't finish? I'm now saying, boy, man, that's a small team. That's a small team. And
that's what they're ending games with.
I know. And then you're
this is Kevon Looney.
Aren't you rewarding Wiggins and Klay and demoting Kevon Looney, who's always been Kevon Looney? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But if there was a guy in that starting five that would take it the best, I think it would be Kevon Looney. In fact, he'd be the only guy, I think, that maybe Wiggins, just because he doesn't show much emotion, but he'd be the only guy that wouldn't throw a fit or have the inkling to throw a fit.
I don't think there's any doubt if we found out that Wiggins was going to the bench, we would never be able to tell it by Wiggins' body language or anything he said. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I'll come off the bench.
Now,
how'd you think Wiggins played last night?
Well, he grabbed 4 offensive rebounds. I mean, he didn't shoot it great. I think he was 3 of 10, but he made a couple threes. To me, Wiggins, it's thanks, but don't. Like, I know everyone was pointing at his 30-point or 31-point breakout on Saturday against Oklahoma City, but to me, he was a little bit better in that game than he was last night because he was more active last night. I mean, he was trying to tip slam balls. He was trying to get into the paint and muck it up, whereas it just felt like he was floating around the perimeter for the first 7 or 8 games of the season. And at least now in the last 6, I know it's not a hallmark or something you should be writing home about, but the fact that he continues to show life more consistently means that maybe it was just a small slump, and he's trying to figure out where his place is in the pecking order because Chris Paul's in here, and now he's running the show, and Wiggins might feel like, the rest of these guys got to figure it out, and Klay Thompson's trying to get on track, and I'll just be the one to kind of be the last one to do my job. But I thought Wiggins last night he was good.